Well, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. That is what we want to see, isn't it? 2-0. We have got another 3 points in the Champions League, and we did not make that too easy in the first half, but the second half was different. But before we get straight into that, I'm going to introduce you. I've got Josh on my left here. Josh, how you doing, my mate, this evening?
Good. Been a busy week, but this definitely cheered things up. Nice turnaround, change of pace. But hey, we'll get into it. We need to see that again on Sunday before I start getting too ahead of myself.
Agreed, we definitely need that on Sunday, but look, Champions League's looking tasty. I am your host, Joe Kenja, tonight, and I am controlling it for the first time, so please, for my first time controlling it, let's throw up like 100 likes. I'm looking for that, 100 likes on this video, right, because that's my first time controlling and hosting at the same time. You know it's going to get chaotic, it's going to be as mental as that match was. We're going to get some of the little bits and bobs out of the way straight away, and that is below you see our sponsors, Ballybet. Thank you very much for sponsoring the podcast and all the work that we do here at Newcastle Fans TV. If you check the QR code below, or if you see the comment in the link in the comments, or the link in the description, you will be able to hit that link and get yourself £20 free bets from a £10 stake. Now, let's see you put on tonight for Newcastle to win for 2 or more goals to be scored and Dan Burn to score a goal. You would have just won yourself money and you would have got £20 added on for just your £10 stake. So make sure you hit that link or that QR code. Ballybet, thank you very much. Boom! So, that said, I want to get this straight into it because we've got a lot of good stuff to talk about, but usually right after a match, I'm dead bouncy and I'm dead excited and I'm all over the shop. I don't know what to think about or what to say. So, I said a while ago, there was one of the gentlemen who come onto here who generally helps ground me very well, and I'm going to bring him straight in here, and that is going to be my man, Connor. Connor, how are you doing tonight, my mate, after that brilliant result from the Toon?
I don't hear you, Connor.
I've sent an unmute request now. Boom. Yes!
Yes, Joe had muted me, you see, so... Yeah.
These amateurs.
Wanted me to be
These amateurs.
Prepared, basically. It was like reliving my childhood all over again. Yeah, very, very happy tonight. That was about the response we were hoping for after Sunday. Eddie Howe had some harsh words to say on Sunday, which is not something you can say very often over the course of his tenure at the club. So I think the lads sort of seen it as message received. They went out there and got the job done. I mean, look, the first half, I agree with what you said at the top of the show, Joe. We didn't make it easy in the first, I think, probably 20 minutes in particular. You know, it was a bit scrappy and messy. We weren't getting out from the back as much as we should have been. I think as well there was a tendency too often to pass the ball backwards, and there was, Steve McManaman, to his credit, was pointing out there was always a ball on over the top if we could just find it. First time we did, Joelinton's just went offside. Although he was not as far offside as I thought he would to begin with. When I seen it back, I thought, "Ooh, that
was closer than I thought when I seen that back." But you're mentioning something I do want to bring up straight away to see if you can calm me down about this, right? But I don't think you're going to be able to, Connor, right? The offside flag. What is this rule? What is this rule? It is doing my head right in. Fair enough, a player's offside, but to leave it. At times, I think there was one of the plays where it went for 40 seconds afterwards and he's not throwing his flag up, man. What's going on?
Yeah, I think when it's a clear offside, why are you not putting your flag up? I think that you've seen the one later in the match, for example, with Tonali. Tonali's a couple of, a good yard offside. That shouldn't... Why are you hesitating there? I get it for the tighter ones. I think the Joelinton's one, had that have turned out to have been just onside, you'd be thinking, well, the linesman's obviously done the right thing. It is obviously what they're instructed to do these days with VAR, is keep the flag down as long as possible and let the play go. But when it's clear, you kind of think, right, you've got a flag. Thankfully it didn't really have an impact too much on it. And especially Big Dan Burn with an unbelievable header. Bend it like Burn, I think that's what you give it.
You took my line. That's what I was playing.
How do you curl a header into the top corner?
I shouted this in we've got a little group chat for these people who are jumping in the live stream so we can organise things. And during the match, we generally talk a little bit. And my goodness, that's all I was screaming. How do you kill that header? How do you do that? It was bloody insane. It was world class. I don't think. And look, comments. Make sure you let me know about this. I've asked many people so far. Have you seen a better header scored at Newcastle United than what Dan Burn has scored tonight in the Champions League? Because that was phenomenal.
I think you'd struggle to find a better header anywhere, not just at Newcastle. It really was that good. I think he obviously gets himself into a brilliant bit of space. And don't get me wrong, I'm sure on the Athletic podcasts tonight they'll be screaming at their defence, thinking, "How can you let one of the biggest guys on the park into that type of space?" Credit to Kieran Trippier as well. What a ball! I mean, he was put that on a sixpence for Dan Burn, really. And he's got it back across and in. And I think for that point, that just seemed to settle everything, and we seemed to be a lot more in control of things from then on out. A few more chances obviously fell away. I think, it's a good save for the keeper. I think Joelinton should probably have scored it though, before he obviously decides to handball it and then sky it over the bar. But he probably should do better there. That being said though, I think overall it's a thoroughly decent performance. There is obviously still an element of maybe not taking the foot off the gas quite so early, because once we got to 2, it was like, right, we just dropped. But I think back to the USG game, we were relentless in that game. We were pursuing goals when we were 4-0 up. We're still going for more. And you're at home in front of that St James's Park crowd against a side in Athletic who, by that point, the race was sort of run in a lot of ways. You probably could have done that if you were being slightly critical. But no, listen, 3 wins in a row in the Champions League, sitting 5th now in that Champions League table, 9 points. I would argue quite strongly, probably another point's enough to guarantee a playoff spot. Another win might just be enough to scrape you into the top 8 and automatically qualify for the last 16, which I think would be a monumental achievement for us, especially after disappointment of the Barcelona game at the start, the last campaign being such a tough one as well in the Champions League. I think it's just been a far better all-round Champions League campaign. We just need to translate it a bit into Premier League football. But
that's it. That is it, isn't it? It's trying to get it into Premier League football. Look, Josh, I'm going to come over to you in a minute, but before I ask you a question that I'm going to ask you, go on. With me and Con have already talked about it, and I'm going to ask everyone about it in this stream, but go on, Dan Burns, go on. Go on, take it away.
He's from Blythe. You'll never ever beat Dan Burn.
Oh, look, he's showing everything off now. He is showing everything off. Oh, and well deserved, isn't it?
Listen, I have I have to fight George Colkin for the head of the Dan Burn fan club, or maybe my former co-host Win over at NUFC Talk TV, good buddy of mine. But listen, the biggest thing that I want to talk about that we didn't is Dan Burn had some strong words to say yesterday in the press conference. And I think the biggest thing, it's easy to say things in life, but to back it up with actions, that is what really, I think that's what makes you go that next level. And the fact that he constantly does that is why I love him. He's always he's not perfect.
Yeah.
None of us will ever say that he's perfect. We've all been saying we don't really want to see him on left back. We love him, but it's not where he should be. But it's the man underneath the jersey and what he understands what it means, and he truly treasures it. And I've said it many, many, many times, but I'll say it again. I'd rather have 11 Dan Burns on the pitch than 11 Mbappes or 11 Ronaldos or whatever.
Thank you. Yep, agreed. It is about that. So what I want to ask you, Josh, because you're the expert on this man and this gentleman who I think is absolutely wonderful, and I don't doubt him. But today, I felt maybe Was Voldemort a little bit quieter today? What was your take on
Yeah,
it?
I mean, listen, I'm not going to be able to give the best analysis again. Was watching the game from work and also in the car on the drive home. Definitely could say I heard his name less.
Yep.
So I think that in itself is an indicator. I think I heard he had a chance there at the end that arguably maybe he should have.
Good shout.
Cool.
Good shout. And now I've got Dalen. Yep, there we go. There we are, ladies and gentlemen. Throw a like up for that. That is my first mistake of the day. I ended up dropping that. There's Josh back. Sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. Go for it. Go for it.
No, I just was going to say, I don't think it was his best, but I think, albeit in his short career, he's got a little bit of credit in the bank. No one, even Erling Haaland, we've seen in recent time have cold patches, have moments where people maybe criticize him. So
Yep.
I don't think it's fair to expect Voltemata to be part of every single game. One of the few bright spots before the game took an awful turn in the West Ham game, I think Voltemata was part of that build-up that we saw in that goal for Murphy. So again, Voltemata, the beauty of him is you don't always need him to do it in a goal. Sometimes he's the pass before the pass and things like that. And he does some things. Again, sometimes he runs a little too deep, but again, not every night is going to be at a 10 out of 10. I think a good thing I heard, I think it was the Geordie Journos were talking about it on a podcast I was listening to this morning. It's almost more important to be a constant 7 than it is to be. I'm not to pick on Anthony Gordon. I'm not going into tonight, but Anthony Gordon, you can have a 10 like we saw versus Benfica, arguably, but then you could see a 3,
Yep.
what he did against West Ham. And again, maybe you might argue a number here or there, but my point being is sometimes it's more important to have those 7 out of 7s that you can rely on than someone that one day is a 10 and one day is that. And Voltemata, I think, is a little bit more steady in what he gives you than Isak either being there or not being there. And again, I'm not doing this as revisionist history that I hate Isak. I'm saying this totally, who I'm not even Isak who like
Whoa!
I just have had to mute Josh there because I don't know what broke there, but something on his microphone broke there. It became very, very, very loud. We'll just see if it's fixed there. It became very distorted for a second there.
Sorry, how about now?
It's still quite distorted and loud. I don't understand what went on there.
Yeah, so something just immediately changed.
Yeah, it was very quick. It leads me on because he was talking about Gordon in a perfect way. Nothing, Josh. What I'm going to do, Josh... Whoa. Nope, it's still very distorted. What I'll do is I'm going to bring Dale in, but before I bring Dale in, one thing I want to ask you, Connor, before I do let you go, is exactly that about Gordon. Now, obviously, there's been a lot of talk about Gordon recently. Has he been a problem? Has he been performing his best? Has he been lazy? Has he been this? You're generally the man, like I say, who grounds me down. Can you ground these people down about Gordon? I personally think that he's obviously been carrying some sort of knock, and we've tried to push it, and it hasn't worked very well. What's your take on it, Connor?
I agree. Yeah, I think you could see with the fact that he goes off just before half time today, much like at the weekend as well. There is a knock there he's carrying. I think there's some sort of hip issue. That's not going to be ideal. And that is, listen, when you're carrying something like that, it's difficult. And to be fair to Anthony Gordon, his performances in a lot of ways have mirrored the performances of the whole team. In the Cup, in the Champions League, we've been magnificent most of the time. In the Premier League, we can't seem to get that level of consistency up. We've had a couple of wins, but we're not where we should be in the table at this point in time, albeit it's early days. So I think that's not just an Anthony Gordon problem, that's a full squad problem. I also think it's difficult because over recent times, and I think the same goes for Voltamada, and the point that was made there as well, is that there's been players out, which have meant there's been more onus on Gordon to play most minutes of most games throughout the season. It's usually been him and Murphy, or him Alanga, him Barnes, and obviously Murphy coming from the day. That's going to have an impact. Jacob Ramsey coming back helps. That's an extra body you can put into that position. It's the same with Nick Voltamade. Again, we don't know what happened to Asula, but he had to pull out on today, so that meant he was going to have to play longer than probably Eddie Howe would have liked. Johan Visa has had a setback in his recovery from injury. He hopefully will be back for the Brentford game at the weekend, which helps because you can't carry it constantly by yourself. You do need a breather, especially when you get these wee aches and pains and knocks, and you're playing every 3 days. It's difficult, and I think people do need to maybe just make some allowances just now. If it continues and you get to January, February, and you're having the same conversation, then maybe you can really start to look at it. But for now, I think we just need to keep on it and understand Anthony Gordon is a superb player who just is having the same inconsistencies as the rest of the team are right now.
Agreed. No, Connor, I like that. I like that a lot because I've seen a lot of them today as well. Connor, thank you very much once again. Brilliant day, and obviously you don't know anyone who has a better header than Dan Burn. Maybe he's in the whole entire Premier League in football. Honestly, Connor, thank you very, very, very much. It's been fantastic again having you. We'll see you in the next one, my mate. Take
Pleasure
care.
as always. Cheers.
Cheers. Right, so there is Josh again, who I have forgot to take out the scene, and there's Dale. We're just going to fit him in as it goes live, because now you're seeing a little bit of what both myself, Josh, and Lee all have to deal with while we are doing this live. So you're getting a little bit of behind the scenes as well. Dale, welcome in this evening. How are you doing, my mate? Are you good?
I'm good. Good performance from the men. Like what you were saying before Gordon got taken off. You could see Gordon trying to knock the ball past the player and try and run around him without contact. So I thought, ooh, is he kind of carrying a knock? Then he went down again when he got took off. I was thinking, we shouldn't have risked them. Just give Alanga, you got Alanga there, you got cover. Just rest Gordon for Sunday. Because he'd looked out of place. But it's still a good performance from the lads, and it was comfortable.
Good 3 points for it. We're going to have a little quick check of the comments and see what's happening. Let's have a look. There was a lot of comments coming in by Josh. Yes, indeed, Simi. Look, Simi, I have done a few mistakes tonight already. This is my first time running a live stream, so do us a favour and make sure you share it. Make sure you hit the likes up. Make sure you give a big shout out to us for running this one and hosting it at the same time. I've had a lot of assistance from Josh in the background. I've had a lot of assistance prior from Lee as well. Real team effort here at Newcastle Fans TV, bringing Dale in today to assist us. Dale said it good there. There's been a lot of risks that we've taken today. And do you know what? It's worked out in the end, hasn't it, really, Dale? We've got the 3 points. We're looking pretty in the Champions League. Do you think we'll make it into the knockout stages? Do you think we'll make it, what's going to be the outcome?
I think we'll get through to the knockout stages. Maybe not like automatic. I think we'll just be going through to the playoffs. But at the minute, we are we're above Real Madrid. We are above Real Madrid. Can you believe? You wouldn't have thought that straight away. We'll go like ahead of them, but the minute we are, it's good performance. And when you like in the home games, it's most important you win all your home games. And at the minute, like take Barca aside, straight away, right? Brilliant performance against Benfica, brilliant performance against Athletic the night, and it's just going into the PSV one. If we win against PSV, we're easily going to comfortably make it into the playoffs to get through to the next. There, I don't think we're in no danger of getting eliminated.
Not at all. That said, I'm going to bring my next guest in, which is Nigel. Nigel, hello, my mate. Thank you very much for tuning in. How are you feeling tonight?
Yeah, good. Yeah, it was a good win. It was a good win. Much needed after Sunday.
So, straight in, the question that I said I'm going to bang on about all night tonight, and it's the one thing that I think every Geordie should be talking about, because Do you know a better headed goal than Dan Burns' headed goal tonight?
It was good. It was very good. I was when it went in. I was trying to think back of some of Shearer's goals over the years.
Yes,
But it's definitely got to be up there, hasn't it? For sure.
it's unbelievable.
And they cut to Shearer shortly after, actually, and it was a it was the position he was in as well. Like, it wasn't like a close
Yeah.
header. It was like sort of almost on the edge of the box, and to get it in from there, he had no right to score. And it was a brilliant ball from Trippier as well, who free kicks and corners haven't exactly been on par recently. So
He done well to ping it over. Trippier, he did. Look, obviously, everyone's happy. We've had a great match. We've come out with 3 points, 2 goals clear. Lovely. But it didn't look that comfortable in the first half, did it? Like, honestly, Nigel, rating the first half, was it all that? Or was it containing? What do you think of the first half, mate?
I thought it was quite average. I thought the whole match... it was an okay performance from us. I don't think we were amazing. We were playing against a very, very poor Spanish side. I thought we were okay. Sorry if that sounds too downbeat. I thought we were okay. I thought we did enough to win the game.
I agree.
Against the better side, we probably would have lost.
Injuries.
But we were just okay, I thought, throughout the whole match.
No, I do agree with that, Dale. What do you think? How did you take the first half of the match as average? Because honestly, for me personally, I think Nigel's bang on. I'm loving and I'm bouncing that we've won and got 3 points in the Champions League. Yes, 2 really good-headed goals. But I want more from my team. I want more of that Benfica sort of performance, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like what do you think, Dale? What was your take on it?
I agree. I thought what average were passing. Some passing were brilliant, but some were absolutely sloppy passes, and then allowing Athletic to go on the counter, which Gordon did a couple of passes, sloppy there. It was like midfield. Bruno did a couple, I think. Tonali did a couple. Trippier did a couple one there, but like I say, it's just like an average performance. And then once that first goal by Dan Burn, I'm still in disbelief how he managed to curl that in. I don't even think scientists will figure out how he'd done that. But once that first goal went in, the confidence just started to kick in, and the chances were coming in. Valdemar should have had a free header. I should have took that one in the way. But that first goal, I think, gave us confidence. Yeah. But then the second half, I thought we'll push on. But after the second goal, we just sat back and just let it go. Right, we've got the 2 goals. You come and see what you can do with us. See if you can get a goal, and we'll get you on the counter.
They were close at times, mind. You've got to give it. They were close at times. I want to say something, right? Let's all start a drinking game. So while you just hit the like button on the stream, we're all going to start a drinking game because Ian McKenna said in the comments, we're all drunk. Don't worry about it, about my mishaps on stream. So here's the game, lads, right? Now, I haven't got a drink in hand. I'm on a Coke Zero. I'm on soft drinks right now, but... Every time we mention Dan Burns' goal, you've got to neck your drink, right? Start from now, right? And not unnatural. If it's a natural talk about Dan Burns' goal, neck your drink. It's got to happen. Look, yeah, there's times where we didn't look overly impressive. We have been pressured a few times, and I feel like a few moments. And now, again, Nigel, we already have been a little bit flat, if some people want to say that, and I think we're fair in saying average. So let's maybe get a little bit flat. There's a big debate going on as well. Has been for a few matches now. Pope or Ramsdale. Because tonight, I felt Pope did better than he did against West Ham. Definitely. There was a few more stops, but there was a couple of moments where I felt like he could have caught it and held it down. And I think at one moment, even he looked down on the ground and realised he landed on Tonali and he thought, fuck, I'm going to the reserves of me here, because of hitting Tonali. What do you think tonight of Pope's performance?
Pope, I thought Pope was solid. I don't think he had much to do. He made a couple of alright saves. Yeah, he was okay. I don't think he's the answer beyond this season.
Yeah.
I think he probably gets replaced next summer. I'm not sure if I think Ramsdale might be on a loan with a view to permanent, but I don't think Ramsdale's the answer either. I think we went for Trafford in the summer and didn't get him for whatever reason, but I think this will probably be Pope's last season. That's not to say he's not been a good servant, because he has. He's a great shot stopper, but in recent times he has always had that dodgy moment. The one that still gives me nightmares is the game before the cup final, I think 2 or 3 years ago against Liverpool, and that ever since then it's just like, what are you doing, sort of thing.
It's one of those nightmare moments that stick with you and you never ever forget it. I definitely agree about that with Pope. But I'm shocked at what you said about Ramsdale. But look, Ramsdale wasn't playing today. We're not going to get lost on rabbit holes and all of that sort of stuff. That's fine. So I'll ask you about a different player. A player who today I felt he turned up in a massive way. Even though he was sloppy in the first half, he was giving it his all. And then the second half, he's tidied himself up. He's even went to score a goal. Lads, what's your thoughts on Joelinton today? I'll start with you, Nigel.
Yeah, Joelinton had a good game. Joelinton had a really good game. I thought he had a real solid game. He hasn't been in. I wouldn't say he's been in his normal form the last couple of weeks, maybe a few weeks. Nor has the team. But yeah, tonight Joelinton turned up, and it was a real leader's performance, even though he's not captain. To be fair, I thought Joelinton, Bruno, and Antonelli had all the games tonight, considering.
Bang on with that, like it was a captain's performance. Dale, what do you make of Joelinton tonight?
I think he had a really good game. Bossing the midfield, giving all this energy. He could have got a hat-trick if he put his chances away. Well, I think one of them was the one where he hit over the bar was a free kick for handball. But you had a good performance, and this is what you need once you're having them 1-0 games. You're playing like average. You just need to get the nitty-gritty. Don't be afraid to go into challenges. In Joelinton's that he won't back down. Even if he's on a yellow card, he still goes in for them challenges, but it's a bit like rather than 100%, it's like 90%. He still goes in, and yeah, although Dan Burn got man of the match, which I find really weird.
To be fair, actually, that's something what we can finish on with you there, Nigel. Before we say with thank yous and with farewells. Who's your man of the match? I personally, it's between Dan Burn, Tonali and Joelinton, and I go with Dan Burn, and it's not just because of his goal either. I think when he was on the pitch, he was indispensable. Passing, possession, defensive, he didn't make a lot of mistakes today. Who's your man of the match?
Yeah, I would say. Yeah, I would probably say Dan Burn, and I think in recent weeks, I think we've even probably said it on here in the last few weeks. Dan Burn's had I won't say rough, but certainly a tough couple of weeks. We've all said since Lewis Hall's been out that Dan Burn's no left back, etc., etc. He's had some unfair criticism in parts from me included as well. So tonight, I would say Dan Burn because he's really turned up tonight, and Dan Burn. Although it is close, Joelinton had a game tonight, etc. But yeah, Dan Burn. I think he's really turned up tonight, and I think after recent weeks of having heavy critics, because it has been heavy critics.
Yep.
It has been heavy critics. Because ever since Lewis Hall's been injured, it's been Dan Burn can't play there, Dan Burn there. But tonight he didn't put a foot wrong at all. I don't think.
Nah, agreed with that. Nigel, before I let you go, is there anything else you would like to say about tonight's match?
No, hopefully we just turn up on Sunday. That's
That's it, isn't it, mate? That's the hope. Well, hopefully we're talking better terms on Sunday and we're celebrating another 3 points, and this time in the Premier League where it needs to be. Nigel, thank you very much again. You take care, my man. Watch what you're doing, buddy. See you in the next one. Bruce. Dale, I'm just going to get you to have a little run through some comments. Can you see the comments here, my mate?
Not really, not much.
Not really. You can't see the comments, and that's fine because do you know what it is? Tonight I've been doing multiple things at the same time and figuring out how hard it is for Lee and for Josh as well. So we're going to start preparing to get our next guest in. But before that, ladies and gentlemen, make sure you're high in your comments in. Make sure you bang a like on the stream, man. And if you're watching this back, make sure you give with a 5-star rating or you bang another like on because I want to try and get this bad boy to 100 likes just to satisfy Mr. Lee Lawler because you know how demanding he is, isn't he, Dale?
He takes it out on us. So if we don't hit it there, he gives us beats.
He does. He beats somewhere. In the comments, we've got Josh screaming, Dan Burn, drink. Yes, Josh, get the cans cracked open. Chuck me a couple of stone cold ones over here. We'll try and get you back in a little bit later to finish up with me and Dale. That'll be excellent. Ian McKenna saying so many drinks. Agreed, mate. We're getting on one here tonight. I think I've already almost done me Coke Zero. Matt Lewis, I hope Joelinton getting dropped from Brazil set up on the next break fires him up to hit some form because a fired up Joelinton is a beast. I will definitely agree with that. He is a massive beast. So, without further ado, if this has worked well, I am going to be bringing in my next guest, the one, the only, the Jacob from the Overlap, who I met at the Overlap, and it was bloody in the presence of Jamie Carragher and Paul Scholes. And oh my goodness, it has went wrong again for Joseph. Of course it has. But there he is. Right, I think I've said unmute to you, Jacob, if you can unmute. Let's hope, because Jacob said this was what was going to happen to him, that his mic was going to...
No, he's there. I can hear him.
You can hear him?
Yeah. Oh, none.
This is
How are you
happening
doing, Jacob?
again. This happened to Josh, and this is now happening to me. Apparently, the host, for some reason, can't hear Jacob. So yeah, Dale, you can hear Jacob.
Yeah, I know.
Everyone throw a like for Jacob now if you can hear him. Right, there's a good reason to like the stream. So I think what I need to do is I need to quickly jump out and then jump back in. So let me just give that a second. Hold on a moment.
So what do you think about the night's performance then, Jacob? Then
I was a little bit underwhelmed. I know we won. I know we won and got the result, which is fine. Yeah, we should be beating them, but I think we were lucky in some cases. I thought they were what are they, like 10th, 11th in the league, whatever they are. I thought we showed them a lot of.
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can.
Yeah, we can hear him now.
There we go.
I was just saying to Dale that I think I'm a little bit underwhelmed. I know we won. Like, that's the most important thing. Don't get me wrong. I just think if we played another team a little bit better, I think we'd have got rolled over, personally. I know we did well in phases. There were good spells, don't get me wrong. Maybe I'm being negative. I don't know. I'm just trying to be realistic, but trying to stay grounded. But I thought they had a lot of chances, like, especially in the second half. I thought once we got the second, I thought, you know what, we're going to get a third and a fourth. We're going to kill it off. But we just took a foot off the gas. Maybe we didn't have to get up another gear. But we got the win. That's all that matters.
Look, do you know what it is? I agree. I fully agree. For me, I think I wanted more from that match. Like, I wanted more from it. I'm buzzing. Not before anyone gets in the comments and goes, do you know what? You're being negative. Cheer up, cheer up. I'm buzzing. Yeah. I am buzzing. Yeah. But you could cry about on Sunday with West Ham, and I was like, look, I'm chalking it up to a loss. Don't cry about, like, you've got to cry about tonight as well. You've got to, because it wasn't as much as it should have been. There should have been more from that match. There were chances that just weren't taken. A couple of moments people just didn't get into the game. I felt as well, I don't know about you lads about this, don't know about anyone, so get your comments in if you disagree with this, but I felt when Murphy came on, that was the Murphy I was worried about seeing, where he ends up sloppy and he doesn't quite get into it. And as much as I want to rag on Barnes all the time, he's one player I probably can't pick on that much tonight. Yes, he missed a couple of chances, but he done decent. He made some good passes. There was one moment where I thought if he scores, he's going to end up being my man of the match, and the lads are going to rip us. So yeah, no, but what do you think on the substitutes mostly? Like Murphy, Hall, Ramsey. How do you think they impacted? I suppose Ramsey's a bit hard, but go on. I'll stop talking. Let you jump into it.
First of all, I was really happy to see Hall back. I think when he came on, I think Burn had a decent game. Don't get me wrong. But when Hall came on, there was spells in that second half where I thought, yeah, we've missed you. Like, just on the ball. He's a lot better than Burn on the ball personally. Linking up with his centre mid and his winger. But yeah, I thought the subs was okay. I mean, I don't really think there was ever a real need to bring on. We need to bring X and Y on. I thought we were comfortable, like relatively comfortable all game. But yeah, I thought the subs were fine. Nothing out of this world. How about you?
Deal.
I'm the same. Out of all the subs, Lewis Hall was. He came on. You just so glad he's back. Just even when he darted runs, in the centre, you give away a free kick, but them darting runs, you were like, go on, Hall, go through them.
You missed him.
And then with Alanga, I know Alanga was on the left, and then I just thought what's happened to Alanga? Because I know he's still getting into the team and getting used to that, but I thought he was just he didn't do much. He didn't add anything. No. And that was Mindy. Mindy was the same. He come on, it was
Can I play devil's advocate with Alanga? Dean, how about you lads, right? And I feel like some people might disagree with this. I feel like when Vissa is fit and comes into the squad, you're going to see a different Alanga. But I think the way the system works right now with Voltamari, it doesn't fit right with Alanga because we've got too many people who are running into pressure. You look at all the pace at the front right now, and yes, it should be amazing, but there's too much, and you end up with a lot of the same, too many chefs in the pot. Do you know what I mean? And I feel like this isn't Alanga's game until someone like Vissa is in there, someone who sits much further up the field. Like, personally, for me, if Elanga came and got to play alongside, and I know I hate to mention it, but in our system, when we had Isak, I feel like Elanga would have hit the ground running already because he would have fit with Isak more. I feel like when Vissa becomes fit, that's where Elanga's really going to slot in here, and everyone's going to go, holy shit, what do we have here? Wow. And we're going to have two different play styles.
It's a strange one because, like, I thought, like, on paper, you know, Voldemort dropping a little bit deep and then Gordon and Elanga in behind. I thought that would work, like, you know, prejudging, but it just doesn't really seem to click. Obviously, Gordon's not been himself in the league, and, you know, I don't know how long he's been carrying that injury, but he did not look himself at all. So yeah, it's a difficult one. So it will be interesting to see when Vissa comes back, like you say. But yeah.
It is going to be interesting once Vissa comes back. What I want to do is we'll see the comments come up on the screen there, and I want the comments to try and answer this one for us. And this isn't about Dan Burns' goal. Take a drink, everyone. This is actually about something else that I am kind of concerned about. And my concern here is Sandro, I run all the time Tonali. Can anyone confirm this to me? Does Sandro Tonali drive a car, or does he just run everywhere? Because, like, what is power in that man? He is literally I reckon he's a Duracell bunny in disguise. I reckon he's got a mask on. He's just the Duracell bunny because, wow, where does he not run? Come on,
spaghetti. That's what he does. He eats his spaghetti every morning.
Drinks his Moretti and
exactly.
just runs for fun. Like, it's mental seeing someone like that on the team, innit?
It is. It's he's unbelievable. I'm like, how? I'm just like, everyone else is just like nearly dead on the feet, and then there's Joelinton going, you know what? There's another 80 yards that can just burst through.
Sandro,
like, how? Sandro, just hold back, mate. You don't have to do this. Yes, I will. You don't have to, son.
He does, and he's a different class. But to spin it on its head, Jacob.
Oh no.
You and Nigel have both been on the same wavelength with this today, and I want to hear it more, and the comments might hit you for it, but Sandro was missing his Savon flair a little bit today, wasn't he?
I think I mentioned this last week or the week before. Because Sandro set the bar so high, when he gives a 6 or a 7 out of 10, you're like, oh my god. No, he's not at his best. I thought it was average tonight, Sandro, but that's for his own standards, isn't it? So it's one of those where I think he did a job, but I didn't think he needed to do much more. But yeah, he just did not stop running, to be fair. But yeah, on the ball, I've definitely seen him have better games. But he got the man of the match, so you know, on the I think UEFA gave him the man of the match. So
that's an interesting one. I didn't know he got man of the match on UEFA. I know Dan Burn's been given it somewhere. I don't know where Dan Burn's been given it, but Dan Burn definitely been given it as well. Just having a look at the comments there. Do you think that proper response to that shambles against West Ham is beating Brentford? Always felt we would beat Bilbao, but the Brentford game is the measuring stick for our response, I reckon. Good question, Matt. Good question. I'll throw that to Dale. I'm going to come to you first. What do you reckon? Do you reckon the proper response now? We've beat Athletic, but we've beat Athletic. Now do we need to go on and also have a comfortable victory against Brentford to really come back from that West Ham loss? What do you reckon, Dale?
It'll be great to have a comfortable win, but I don't think it's going to be a comfortable win because Brentford last week beat Liverpool 3. I know they won Liverpool 3-2, but like they've got good players on form. They've got Thiago up front, so even if we get I just want a proper performance. Like give 100. Even if we got beat 4-0, like but the lads just all went out and give a proper performance. We've got nothing to write about, but like if it's like a shocking performance like we did against West Ham, then it's going to be more concerning.
Yeah, agreed.
So definitely need a good performance. Even I'll take a point or win.
Oh, it's got to be a win. Jacob, what do you reckon? Does it have to be a dominant win against Brentford this weekend after tonight?
I'll take any win, any away win.
Yeah, exactly.
Take any win,
any Premier League win.
10-9 or a 1, I don't care. Just win. I think the players will be up for it though on Saturday. I think that's the bread and butter, isn't it? Like, yeah, we've done well tonight, but like I said earlier, they're not doing amazing. I think Brentford are a better team than them tonight, personally.
Yeah.
But Yeah, it's a tricky place to go, Brentford. Not got a great record there, I don't think. I know we won maybe last year or the year before, but yeah, well, it's difficult. It's going to be interesting to see how they do react. But yeah, it's no good winning tonight if you go and lose 2 or 3-0 on Saturday. So, we'll see. It will be interesting.
That's the big issue everyone's got, really, isn't it? Like, look, and I think that's one thing. Does it take away from tonight the fact that we're having this problem that, yeah, look, the last couple of times we've won in the Champions League, it's been a buzz, it's been happy days, we've loved it, and then all of a sudden we've came kind of crashing. But like Eddie Howe said, we've had good results recently overall, we have. But then it comes crashing down in an away game, and it comes after is that affecting the sort of joy tonight, Jacob? Is that stopping us from being as happy as we could be?
Potentially, yeah, but I don't think we'll have that issue on Saturday because I don't think. Listen, I'm not saying they didn't try tonight, but I feel like we weren't on gear 5 or 6 tonight, were we? Like we weren't playing Barcelona or PSG at home. We weren't giving it all, and then for Saturday or Sunday. So I think we could be all right on Sunday, especially we're at home as well tonight. We're not doing any travelling, so yeah, fingers crossed.
I'm hoping so. Look, before we do let you go, Jacob, is there anything else you think that needs covered about this match? Other than, actually, did I ask you? Do you know a better goal than Dan Burns' header?
I was waiting for that.
Did you know? No. See,
that's my answer now.
That's his answer. That's it. Is there anything else you feel that we need to cover in this one, there, Jacob?
Just want to emphasise Brentford. Brentford is huge. It's probably one of the biggest of the season. I think if we go and win there, we can really kick on. But if not, then it's the international break as well. So it'll be a long 2 weeks if we don't. So yeah, hopefully we can
get some more bodies back now in that international break once Brentford's out the way. Thank you very much once again, Jacob. It's been an absolute belter having you. You take care, my mate, and I shall see you soon. Just going to bring comments up there while I do a little bit of magic. Yes, Simi has just liked the video. Come on, guys. Only 13 likes. Only 13 likes. What are you talking about, man? Come on. Get that up to 100 for me, please. And when you're listening back, make sure you hit the 5 stars. We've just won 2-0. Dan Burns just scored the best header modern football's ever seen. Drink your drinks if you're playing the drinking game of every time we mention Dan Burns' header. Take a drink. And for goodness sake, Joelinton done an absolute belters. Look at another comment there. Ian McKenna, you have just made up that phrase. Savoir flair. I have the savoir flair. I'm the reason everybody here. I said get up. Trust us. It is a real phrase, savoir flair. I believe it's French. And that is personally for me something that Nick Voltemade has. Now, what I am going to try and do is I'm going to bring Dale back in, and then I'm going to mention something. If you haven't already, hit our sponsor link down below, Ballybet. It's in the comments. It's in the description. The QR code's on your screen right now. You will get £20 in free bets for your £10 bet. You could have won tonight if you had put Dan Burn and Joelinton on to score. You would have won money. You would have already been in profit and would have had another £20 to spend on Ballybet. It would have been phenomenal for you. You would have been bouncing and buzzing. But you didn't. So get it done.
I'm joined the game. I'm joined the game of Dan Burn.
Yes. Drinking game. Every time we mention Dan Burns' goal. So what I am going to try and do, just in the background here, in the studio. The deal, is there anything you want to point out about the games tonight? Something that stood out for you? Something amazing? Something not so great?
It's the positive is the fans tonight. They were loud from minute 1 all the way to the end. When I think when we played Barcelona, when Barca went 2-0 up, the fans were a bit down. Even when we were 2-0 up against Benfica, they knew the job was done, but they were kind of the fans were kind of not making that much noise. But tonight, the fans went from 0 all the way to shouting on. It was nice that it was good. Also, the lads were just all gelling together, going we're all there for each other. Everyone was behind there, and then Eddie's just on there, just conducting everything. It was really good. He got his tactics spot on the night, I think.
He has been good and they've contained the game. I'm going to try and bring Josh in, right? Because we've got about 15 minutes left to fill up in the show at the end, and I wanted to try and hopefully have the 3 of us together. So let's see if this works. Let's see if his thing goes right. So,
magic.
Number 30 in the Royal Rumble. Josh. Josh, the Dan Burn fan. Can we hear you?
Can you hear me?
We can hear you. You're a little bit quiet. He's okay.
Yeah.
How about now?
It's a bit louder.
Is that better? Better?
That's the one.
That
That's the one.
anticipation.
How's it
So,
going?
look, while you've been away, have you found a better goal than Dan Burns' goal?
Yes,
I did do a wardrobe change behind the scenes.
I
but
noticed.
I did not find a Dan Burn goal or a goal better than that. Maybe at Wembley, but that didn't happen at St. James's. So
See, no, I think the only reason the Wembley one is better is because it won the first trophy in 70 years. So that was brilliant. But tonight, I think if anyone can give me a written explanation in the comments about how you curl a header. Yes, there you go, Ian McKenna. Let's have one fair.
he hit it with the hypotenuse of the quadrangle, which allowed the reverse thrusters to then bend it like Burn.
Bend it like Burn. I love when they were saying that in the commentary as well. Look, lads, Josh, your man of the match. Dale, who was your man of the match? Sorry, I'm Dan Burn.
I'm gonna go with Joelinton.
Joelinton, Josh, man of the match. I think I know who it's going to be.
Eddie Howe.
Now he's giving this some thought. That's interesting.
I'm giving it thought. Also, not talking with my mouth full.
Yeah. Holy Greg's round.
He's going to go with Pope. Yeah.
Listen, I think Dan Burn's the easy one to say, but I think I'm going to go with Dale on this one because a lot of people were really giving Big Joe some slack. And I think I wanted to talk about that a little bit. Again, I didn't get to see the whole game, so take my insights with a grain of salt. But, it reminded me that Tottenham through ball, he got in the 6-1, the way he just chested it and took it. Yes, he was offside, but he took that ball well. I think Joelinton also put in a good rebound response, especially because I would say the biggest thing I groaned about at the starting lineup was seeing his name. And I love Big Joe, but I was not happy with the starting lineup. I didn't think Eddie maybe made as much of a statement as I wanted, and that was a big part of it.
Look, it got mentioned a little bit earlier. Dan Burns' words in the press conference yesterday, and he was very strong in what he said, and I think a lot of passion came across. And the same that can be said from Eddie Howe's press conference after the West Ham game, and I think that's one of the first times I've ever heard Eddie Howe come out and criticise the team. Is this the beginning? I know we touched down on a little bit earlier about the Brentford game, but just standing on what we've seen tonight, is this the start of a proper response after those speeches? Is this what you want to see? Josh, I'll go with you first.
It's the start, but I think you guys have already touched about it. There is an element, and you asked this to Jacob, and I was in the background fully agreeing with your question. I almost feel like our league performance is kind of tarnishing how much fun I'm having in the Champions League because we talked about this ad nauseum on Sunday. If we don't get back to the Champions League, there's a little bit of an element of, don't get us wrong. Obviously, I want us to do well in the Champions League. But I think if we're all being totally realistic, you want to go do a good bet with Bally Bet with a good return, Newcastle to win the Champions League. Listen, we're all pragmatic. I don't think it's happening. As much as I would love to see it, and I'm not saying throw in the towel, but my point being is I said from day one, and my biggest fear this season was, how do we cope with it this time? That was the biggest barometer of saying, have we actually gone forward? There's going to be moments where you have excellent performances and you say, this is a step forward. Or you're going to have moments where you have bad games and you say, this is a step backwards. But the most important thing was, as a whole, how do we handle it? And I do worry, just like we were all worried a year ago, how quickly we've kind of backed ourselves into a corner now. And we've almost got to have another great run like we did last November, December, of 10 games in a row. Now, I will preface this. I'm not superstitious, but I am a little stitious. Of Michael Gary Scott. When I think it was starting this point last year when I booked my trip to Newcastle, which, spoiler alert, I booked my trip to Newcastle last weekend. We did not lose a game until I was there. So hopefully we'll go on the same run for the next month and we won't lose.
I'm gonna look at that. I'm gonna really look at that one. Let's see if that happens this time round again. I'm hoping it does because we really need a good winning streak in where I think everyone says that. Everyone would agree we need a winning streak. It is desperate. Just a quick look at the comments. Ian McKenna. I thought the interesting question to Dan was about, is there more excitement for the Champions League than West Ham away? Look, Josh has just touched upon it there. And I think me and Dale have already spoke about it this evening. Yes, indeed, there is more excitement for the Champions League than West Ham away, but that still shouldn't mean the team should be trying any less, and I think I'm fair in saying that. Whether you're going to Leyton Orient or you're going to Barcelona or one of them teams are coming here, you still need to go out and give your everything for this Newcastle United badge. What's happening, saying, has the host got any gear? No, sadly, all I've got is Carabao Cup memorabilia, like the stage where everyone has stood there and they stand next to a rat. That's the only gear I have got for you. What's happening? But I like you. Crack on. And Matt Lewis, do you think Ramsey will suit Brentford on Sunday? Deal. Go on, because I'm on the fence on that. What do you reckon?
I think he'll do good. Because he's a good dribbler. He's good on the ball, and he's fast. He can do it quick, he can do it slow, like different paces, different tempos. So that can be a good one. That's it's hard to say. Who would you drop though? Would you drop Bruno? I would say Bruno will probably be on the bench because he's like had a lot of games recently.
Mm-hmm.
So be Bruno or Tonali. One of them will be dropped, and Ramsey will come in. I'm expecting Barnes will be on the left. Murphy will be on the right, and then Gordon will be on the bench. If the hip's not as bad as a thing. This is my one worry I've got now is because at the minute we've only got one striker, Voldemade. If he gets injured, it's going to be. I'm assuming it's going to be Elanga. That's the only remaining one because obviously Willisula got withdrawn from the squad, so. I would say yes. Well, that's him. If Ramsey will come in and do a great job.
Two potentially very worrying injuries on the horizon that could take from today. Really, that isn't it. You know, you don't want to see Elanga potentially injured. You don't want to see Elanga. You don't want to see Asula potentially injured, and you don't want to see Gordon potentially injured. They're two very, very key players when it comes to depth, which I think in the summer you certainly wouldn't have put Asula into that. Half of all were ready to sell Asula. So if them two are going to be out for a little while, and if I believe Vissa is due to come back at any given moment, I think.
I won't play him against Brentford.
Well,
what's that?
I won't play him against.
You go there.
I would say I wouldn't play Wissa. I wouldn't risk him until he's fully 100%. Because there's no point bringing someone back that's like just say 70%, and then he gets a little knock again, then he's out for longer. Wait until he's fully rested.
Do you think then if he's ready, quotation marks, if he's ready, does he get phased back in, so to speak, like how Eddie Howe usually brings new players in? Is that
like 10 to 15 minutes? 10 to 15 minutes back, like ease in, and then once he's fully there, he's got more match fitness, then maybe play him for 45. And then take him off at half time for Voldemade, or give him 60, take him off. Just slowly ease in because we've done that. We've been there before when one of the players have come back, we've played them straight away, and then a mishap. Then he's out for longer.
Agreed.
We don't need that. We don't need that in a minute.
We've got towards the end. We've spoke a lot of positives. We've spoke a lot of negatives.
Wait, real quick. Asula.
Yep.
Have we heard? I heard he was a late removal. I know there's been some bug. Do we know if it was just maybe? Huh?
He hurt his ankle.
Oh,
So it's
okay.
like them. So it's just like rest him because they didn't want to make him. Well, obviously
Okay,
get the
but
ankle
the
worse.
same ankle that he's been resting
Yeah.
so far.
Believe so. Believe apparently it was in warm up. By all means, when the last word comes out, no likely later this evening when Lee comes out to it, he will probably be able to tell me more because from what I know, it has.
Where I'm going with this is yes, there are some injury scares, but it doesn't sound like anything's new. And fingers crossed, I don't think we have anything at this present moment in time to worry that Asula's like all of a sudden done his ankle, now he's a month or something. And one thing that I think is interesting that shout out Ian in the chat, he said after the break for Wissa. I agree with that. And one of the reasons I heard and kind of words are hard. Conspiracy theory was because of the whole international waiting till after so that way he can't get called up. Because this fear of even if we get him a sub performance,
You can get called up.
Then maybe Congo calls him up, especially because from what I've heard, Congo are borderline even gonna qualify.
Playing that 200 IQ, isn't it?
The truth is stranger than, or the fiction is stranger than truth sometimes. I don't know. Or the truth is stranger than fiction. But the other thing is if I'm being honest, let's just say he is ready. I don't think to bring him back with all the already pressure that would be there, even as a sub performance, to have it be against your old club, I think is also probably not ideal.
Yeah.
I don't know how Brentford fans took what he did to Isak because let's not sugarcoat it. I'm not trying to say that I'm like mad at Vista, but there are some similarities there in how Vista treated them to how we complained about Isak. So we need to call a spade a spade. I was not happy about that as much as, yes.
We agreed on that, mate. Yep.
Yeah.
Even though it was flattering that he wanted to come here and all of that. And, looking into his background, his whole, I totally forgot about the whole acid thing and whatever. So, the fact that it goes far beyond just a standard transfer for him, the fact that he was willing to make that means a lot and go out of his comfort zone. But at the same time, for all those online trolls, we need to be honest. And yeah, he did some similar things. So I don't think I always worried that Brentford was not the game when I heard that was going to be the general time frame. I did not think that was the time. However, I will say I could see him being more of a Bruno integration where it's like a 10-minuter, a 30-minuter, a start. I don't think he's going to need like a 5-game runway. I don't think we have the time. We threw Voltamata to the Wolves, not that it was Vissa's fault, but because of Vissa.
Yeah.
It's time for Vissa to help out the poor German lad and get back up to speed because we cannot run Voltamata into the ground.
Hold on. Whoa. The poor German lad. The poor German lad who's 1-2. Come on. I think he's doing fine. And personally, for me,
Yeah.
I don't think within 3 games Vissa is going to be able to take the starting point from
No.
Voltamata.
I'm not saying that he starts over Voltamata like as a default. I almost see him as a rotational.
Right.
Rotation, League Cup, FA Cup.
I'll give you a perfect example. Joelinton and Jacob Ramsey, if they both play their best game,
Yep.
I think they're about the same caliber, but what they give you is different strengths.
Yep.
So, for instance, we were talking about, is Jacob Ramsey the right one for Brentford? I actually think, not that I'm a Brentford expert, I actually think Brentford would have been better suited for Big Joe than Jacob Ramsey. I don't think Brentford's going to sit back as much as I think Bilbao was going to sit back tonight. I think Ramsey is better suited for a team that sit back and you need that moment of magic. You need that moment of just ambitiousness to try and break them down. Joelinton generally doesn't give you that. And I say this all after I said he had the man of the match. But
No, I get your anomaly though, because it is. I get what you're saying there about Joelinton, because for me, he's not exactly that guy who goes off, takes the ball in a two-touch.
I went Joelinton against Arsenal, annoying Mikel Merino, annoying
Yes.
Declan Rice, getting under their skins. Jacob Ramsey is almost going to lose that talent battle. But when you're playing a Leeds or you're playing Burnley or things like this, or you're playing really bad teams like Sunderland that are just going to camp,
Love that.
you need Jacob Ramsey to break them down.
Yeah, no, agreed. Just having a look there, Matt Lewis saying, yeah, with Bruno and Tonali off international breaks because we have that squad. Just think Ramsey would suit playing them, but as you say, hard to pick who to come out after the international break for Vissa, but we really need that focal point. Apparently it is what the club have said as well. I'm not sure about that, Josh. I do think it might be a bit of a one about, but I think it's accurate. We're not going to play Vissa in case he goes to Congo. Man City, Marseille, Everton going to good games for Vissa to be appearing off the bench, maybe starting at Everton and coming off. So Big Nick as a 10 and Vissa as a 9. Drop Big Joe and go with Bruno and Tonali. I like it. Now, with the mention of a couple of other teams, before we do start looking to wrap up the night, I want to just have a little run through with the other scores, because we've had a great 2-0 win. 3 points. Loving it. I'm loving it like this. Paphos beating Villarreal 1-0, which shocked me.
Wow.
Karabakh and Chelsea 2-2.
Wow.
Big shock. Karabakh were actually beating Chelsea 2-1 at one point. Galatasaray smashing Ajax 3-0. Bayern Leverkusen have beat Benfica 1-0. Club Brugge and Barcelona has ended 3-3. Now, I'm pretty certain, yes, a goal got disallowed as well, and Club Brugge was actually 4-3 up, and that was an insane game because Barcelona had to come back every single time. Inter just scraping past a 2-1 win against Kairat Almaty. Manchester City have beaten mine and Josh's beloved Dortmund 4-1. Marseille has been beat by Atalanta 1-0. And of course, if I didn't say it at the top of the bill, because of Dan Burn opening up the scoring with a header that like I've never seen before, drink your drink if you're still playing, Newcastle beat Athletic Bilbao 2-0. And it was beautiful for all the Geordies. Lads, that's their deal. Start with you. Is there anything else you feel that needs to be said tonight about this match?
Newcastle are above Real Madrid.
Love that. Thank you, Deal. Josh, anything you feel needs said about this match?
First of all, while I'm checking this, it's not that I have anything against Dortmund, but my beloved VfB Stuttgart.
Yes.
Let's get this right. Let's get this.
Apologies.
No, it's okay. It's all forgiven. But, sorry, loading. You know who else Newcastle is above? One Liverpool. So, good night, ladies and gentlemen.
That's a perfect there. Ladies and gentlemen, make sure you hit that like button. Thank you all for tuning in. Make sure you hit the Ballybet link. You see it in below. We've talked about it through there. You get £20 free bet. If you bang £10 on, it's pure profit. Lovely jubbly. Thank you all very much. Thank you to Dale. Thank you to Josh. Ladies and gentlemen, we shall see you in the next one. Take care and good night.
Good night.
Up we go!